Defend your people. Defend them with all the truth that you know. Defend your people. Even in their apparent wrong, I say, defend your people. Never take the white man's side. Never take the white man's side against your people. Never take his side. Even if it appears that our brother is wrong, don't take the side of the enemy. If you see one of your brothers switching down the street, and some white man says, "Look at that sissy," don't you say, "Yeah, look at that sissy." You see, probably if he hadn't met your fathers, he wouldn't be that way. They got the damn nerve to talk about some black man who is weak and sick. I'll take Mayor Barry off in the corner and smack the hell out of him, but never would I make the enemy think that I'm an enemy of my brother. Never take the enemy's side. I defend black people. Bring me a murderer on death row, I can get him off. Because I know he wouldn't be none of that if he were taught right from the beginning.
All right, greetings and welcome to another powerful edition of the Community Defender Talk Show, one powerful hour of truth, dispelling falsehood. I'm so happy that you've joined us today, and I'm happy to be at these microphones and under this camera so that we can deliver what we know is a wake-up message. We want to, of course, congratulate everybody at the Community Defender for an award-winning situation that we had at the banquet where we won another award. And so the bottom line of it is that this is not only the Community Defender, but by God's grace, it is the award-winning Community Defender. And we want to let you know that you are rolling with those of us who love you and who are striving to make sure that we heighten the level of discussion, as our brother Oscar used to say. Also, I just want to make clear that at the beginning of this month, we made 26 years broadcasting from this spot. So we made 26 years of the Community Defender on AOC. Of course, prior to that, it was on AM 1460 in Baton Rouge, but on Acadian Open Channel, it is now a little more than 26 years old, 26 years and about 2 weeks old. So I just wanted to lay that out there to let you know we have been around for a while. And without your help, without your support in loving the show and sparking interest in the show and discussing the show in the barbershop, beauty salon, wherever you may discuss the show and what topics we tried to bring up, all of that has helped us to stay around, as well as our wonderful director, Brother Jay, as well as our wonderful producer, Sister Khadijah. So we want to thank everybody. We want to, of course, also thank Sister Jamila Segmet, who was with us as a wonderful director in those very beginning days. So we don't want to leave anybody out. Now, I wanted to mention that we did lose somebody who did help us out in the very beginning with the Community Defender. a brother by the name of Herbert Jasmine. Herbert Jasmine recently passed, and may God forever be pleased with him and whatever good work, which I know it was a lot of good work that he's done. He's worked with a lot of people, but our brother who worked at AOC, helped out Sister Jamila, and was around all the time to help and assist. That brother has now passed, and of course our prayers are with the family in this time of bereavement. But I wanted to mention that we are all here for a limited time. Sometimes when restaurants advertise food, they'll often say for a limited time only. And that's really true about all of us. We are here for a limited time only. So you want to make sure that you spend this life not partying, not acting the fool, not turning it up, but doing something constructive with your life that will hopefully elevate your people. All right. We all have to work hard to make a positive contribution to the Black community. Now, we're going to put out a question, and I of course invite everybody to call in on this. What kind of future we will have? Okay, that's the topic. What kind of future we will have, or will we have? Right. So the real question is, what kind of future do you want ultimately, and what are we willing to do as a people to get the future that we want? Okay, because a lot of times, and this is just what I find, a lot of us want to be comfortable, but we don't necessarily want to be free. I'm going to say that again. A lot of us want to be comfortable, but not necessarily free. In other words, we may want a nice job, but we don't want to rock the boat. We want to keep quiet no matter what happens. We want to make sure our bills are paid, and we just want to go. We don't really want to make any way. We just want to be comfortable. Even though we're under the total control of others, we're cool with that as long as we are comfortable. And that is really the mindset of a lot of our people. And that is the mindset of a lot of our elected officials, because most elected officials run for office not to make things better for you and me, but to make things better for themselves. All right. Some of these people are in Congress for a couple of years, 2 or 3 terms. They come in with a net worth of $50,000. And after about 3 terms, some kind of way, they have a net worth of 12 and 13 million after sometimes 2 or 3 terms. So we know that they run for office most of the time to make things better for themselves. And we have to deal with that. Now, the thing is that everybody, every Black man, woman, and child has to be held accountable for doing what you can to move our people forward. We have to move forward. We're on the bottom of every good category and at the top of nearly every bad category. All right. So obviously something is wrong. Now, our brother Mark Morial has declared with the Urban League, has declared a state of emergency dealing with the condition of Black people. But I would caution everybody, and I would remind everybody that we've been in a state of emergency for quite some time. We've been in a state of emergency since before Dr. King was born. And some of us wanted comfort rather than freedom. But the only thing that's going to make you totally comfortable in the long term is freedom. And in order to be free, you have to accept the responsibility of being free, which means you may have to farm and grow your own food, which will be healthier than what you get in these stores. You may have to provide your own health care, run your own schools. We have to begin to think more independently than how we think. Okay, we're always looking to others. Now understand, and I'm going to say this is going to upset some people, but understand your brother loves you. Okay, I believe in black people, and I believe in the God that will save black people. Okay, I believe in black people and the God that will give them their salvation. And I'm not talking about a pie in the sky after we die. I'm talking about something sound on the ground while we are all still around. And I'm talking about laying a base that when you go, you pass the baton on to others that bring it further and further ahead. Now, whatever we don't address in this time will have to be addressed at another time. If we don't fight successfully mass incarceration in this time, it will continue to ruin lives into another time. So we have to address some of this stuff what? Now. And leadership, the leadership that we have is very weak and cowardly for the most part. Our elected officials work on other people's projects. For example, in Baton Rouge, all of the council people are on board for a new $400 million prison, but they're not necessarily on board to build a vocational center that can bring people in at little or no cost and provide skills that pay the bills. They're not the idea. They're not into. They're looking at rolling with these people, with them folks. They are looking at spending $400 million on a prison, but they could, we could wipe out all of the blight in the city of Baton Rouge for less than $160 million. And I'm talking about wipe it all out and build new structures in those places for no more than $160 million, but they'd rather spend $400 million for a new prison. Okay, they want the modern, up-to-date prison, but they don't want to give our children modern, up-to-date school facilities. Now, I'm going to read something to make sure we're on point here. I hope everybody is all right and understand that reading is fundamental. And I wanted to mention this book here, Message to the Black Man, that everybody needs to make sure that they get. Now, here is what it says in a book by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on page 93 called Our Savior Has Arrived. And I want you to understand what got us into this situation. If you don't understand how a problem started, you will not know how to solve that problem. Now, here it is right here. He says, our first parents who were brought here, he said, were killed after giving birth to their first babies to prevent them from teaching their children anything of self or of their God and people. I want you to get that straight. Killed, no connection to you got the African blood, but you don't have a connection to Africa, a connection to your culture, because they murdered your parents after giving birth to their first children. And they repeated this over and over. All right, going on to the next paragraph. This act of murdering our forefathers by the slave masters left their children to be taught and reared in whatever pleased the slave masters, and we are from those children. Okay, so we're from a people who don't know anything about themselves. Therefore, the knowledge of self could not be passed down because the slave mind of dependency and white supremacy and the corresponding value of black inferiority was passed down from generation to generation. We're still talking about being light-skinned with good hair. In 2025, I'm talking about pastors in church saying, you knew who had back in the day, we got all these wigs. You knew who had good hair and who had bad hair. Well, that's an old European standard, and that's slavery language that even today is being spoken from the pulpits in the black community, right? So I just wanted to lay that out there as a base. This made us blind, deaf, and dumb to the knowledge of self or anyone else, and it stands true today that the American so-called Negroes don't know themselves or anyone else, and the worst of all is that they don't know themselves or others. See, one of the most dangerous things when you're building something or you're involved in a very important project, something risky, is the unknown unknowns. Meaning there are certain things that you know, certain things you know that you don't know. Well, I don't know this. You know you don't know it. So you plan accordingly. But when there's something you don't know that you don't know, that's when it gets really dangerous. That's when all kinds of explosions can happen. That's when system failures can happen because you don't know that you don't know. All right. Now, I'm going to read one more thing right here from Message to the Black Man by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I invite everybody to get that book. That book needs to be spread. That book, along with other books. Another book is The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Today's generation doesn't know anything about that book. That book was a book we discussed 35 years ago all the time. But now, nobody even knows who started Black Negro History Week, which became Black History Month. And nobody knows what Carter G. Woodson said, which was a people without the knowledge of their history is like a tree without roots. Okay? Nobody is familiar. The present generation, they're talking about race theory, critical race theory and stuff. Man, these people have watered down the history. They've been watered the history down for years. Okay? That's been the case, that the history was taken out and watered down. Now they're going to eliminate it altogether. Now, do we whine about it as a people? Or do we make sure that our children in our household know their history? Or do we create a curriculum in our houses of worship where people know our history? They know that the black man is the original man. You understand? So you got to know who you are. The black man is the original man. And before the black man, there was no man. Every black child should be familiar with that as a fact. Every black child should be familiar with that. You understand? So it's a situation where a lot of our children just do not know. And we're talking about people who are 18, 19, 20 that have no idea who we are, about our greatness, about the great libraries that we had, about the fact that we brought soap to Europe, that the idea of regular bathing came from Africa. Africans brought that there. You understand? And our children simply go ahead and take that.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I got a comment and question for Brother Dow.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead, caller.
I'm thinking he may have to turn the television.
Welcome back, Brother Dow.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back. Glad to be with you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
yeah,
sir.
welcome back, Brother Dow. You said to call in and ask you the question of what kind of future we will have.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to elaborate on that, but I got some other things I need to talk about that you mentioned too. You said that the politicians were the ones that especially that we need to hold accountable, and we still go to them polls and vote. I mean, I understand that we have been misled for so long till we don't believe that we are the only one that can hurt ourselves and help ourselves. And then we go and find these black politicians who come sell us a story that they're going to go fight for us. And then when you go look at where they're staying and what they're driving, they're working for the white people. Like I said, the white people cannot do us nothing no more. But we always have these so-called educated Negroes, especially like Cleo Fields, who's selling us out, Marcus Bryan, another one who's selling us out, Gerald Boudreaux, another one who's selling us out. The same old criminals, black criminals. And because these guys are so, say, educated, indoctrinated, and white folks sponsor them, we go there and pull the lever thinking these people can change. Nothing has changed but the way we think now. We don't believe in ourselves no more. You know, when I talk about telling black people, let's get away from these white people and start up our own thing, you know, some of the educated, well, let me rephrase it, the indoctrinated black folk be saying, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Well, how them white folk living off of us? Every time we think we got to go to these white people, that's when we start to lose. And well, I'm just tired of hearing so-called indoctrinated black people come and tell us we got to fall in line because this white man is so great for us. Neither one of these white folks in politics is good for us. I'm talking about good white folks. When I'm talking about white folks, I'm talking about the white folks who treat them like niggers. And like I said, if they don't catch their head with Trump big beautiful bill just done to them, and now they're asking black people to try to get in and help us, we got to get away from these people. You know, I was listening to Barack Obama earlier with his wife podcast. I don't know if you saw that, Brother Darrell, but you need to go check it out if you didn't. Saying yes, that
I was going to touch on it.
Black children need to have more gay advisory and supervision. And look, I'm not knocking no gay guy, no gay woman, but you was in a system that you could have changed to give more role models of blackness, of positive black men. But you see, he portrays that role model too, because you know his brother-in-law, Michelle Obama's brother, is gay. That we got to let him raise our children. That's why our black youth is so sensitive and so woman-like. And I'm not knocking women before they get in their feeling, but this is why the black woman always trying to fight the black man, with their independence. And you know they're separating us with words and making us fight each other. Every black child need a positive black man. Now, if he got a gay guy on the side, cool. But the black man got to be the first one to make this child understand what true mentality, manhood, and everything is. And if we don't start and tell our story, like you just said, that Carter G. Woodson, you know, he wrote that book 90 years ago. None of these, and you said the churches need to join in, especially the Black Baptist churches. You know, we didn't learn the white people Bible. Imagine if we had learned our constitutional right and learn those books like you're talking about. These white folk couldn't manipulate us, but that's what the job is, to keep us away from things that's going to really express us to know and think critical. And the last but not least, what if Malcolm X wouldn't get assassinated with the talent this man got that he was saying 60 years ago about how we have become a culture of people who don't know who we are, but yet still everybody living off us. We are look in the rap. They always got 4 or 5 white guys who the black rappers got to go through to get to the next level. Why it always got to be somebody white that these rappers got to go through for them to get to the next level and still be at the bottom level, but selling out the black youth? And we got to stop letting our children listen to their music, because it's being programmed to destroy our black youth. And no other culture, from country to Western, whatever they want to call it, which is all black music copied in their way, you don't hear them talking about killing a dog. But yet still we allow all this. Now, what our black politicians do? Well, it's their freedom. Well, why, when somebody white say I'm going to go and kill a dog, they hurry up and edit that? But it's all right for black people to exploit black people. And then we don't understand we are some imaging people. Whatever we hear, whatever we think, we pursue it. You know, I keep saying they cosplay us to what they think we are, and then we cosplay to be what they want us to be, and then play like we don't know what's going on. These white people know exactly what's going on. It's just that they got these indoctrinated black people. And that's another thing you mentioned. Why our children don't understand what's happening? Because they've been indoctrinated. How we expect to learn something? The people who enslave us is now so-called educating us. That don't even make sense. But let these so-called HBCUs and all these black colleges, that is a program to indoctrinate the children, is misindoctrinating our children with their own history because they believe they're part of the white system now because now they got a degree. Now the degree don't work no more than a white boy certificate. But yet still, what our black parents do, be so proud. Oh, you know, my child got a degree. What is he doing with it? He's still working for that white man who don't have a degree. He could run his own business. But keep talking what you're talking, Brother Dow, but don't be apologetic, man. We need to hear what we need to hear and stop being edited. These white folk always telling us, oh, y'all not ready for that. Y'all not ready for this. But it's always they're ready to take our money. We always got to go through them, give them a percentage, and we still at the bottom. It's our mind that we have to understand. And to all the black people who I'm offending, you are welcome because y'all the problem. Because without y'all, so say, benefiting them and making us look like we bad for telling the truth, y'all the problem. So keep talking what you're talking, man. Like I said, they're going to have some callers come try to dilute that. But like I said, Black Lives Matter, stop voting because these white folk need us. And look, Trump is giving us all what we wanted to hear and say and do. And now white people are starting to see what Jim Crow truly is. So don't feel bad. Get the popcorn and enjoy the show, y'all. Especially y'all black people. Give yourself a hug who didn't go get indoctrinated. Don't let them make you feel like something's wrong because white folks selling their houses and everything right now. They can't afford it. Y'all just got to be smart enough not to go buy it. That's why they call y'all second-class citizens because you're always buying their seconds. Thank you, man. Have a nice
Thank you. All right. Hey, I wanted to speak to a couple of things that the caller brought up, which I think were timely. One thing is, you know, a lot of times our education is not really education, but it's indoctrination. It's not, it doesn't open the mind sometimes. Sometimes it closes the mind to other possibilities. All the stuff that classical education teaches, Darwin, evolutionism, all of the things which limit you. And a lot of the people that I find who've had this classical education, they can quote Plato, they can quote Aristotle, white Greeks, but they don't know anything about souls of black folk and excuse me, and W.E.B. Du Bois. Excuse me. They don't know about black people and what black people wrote. But they will quote Nietzsche and Dewey and all these people who didn't view black folks in the best light. They do that all the time. The other thing, when Obama on the podcast with his wife, and some of y'all need to go on YouTube and look at it, where Obama talked about having a gay professor and the gay professor helping him, and just in case you have a gay son or a son that's non-binary or whatever. This is exact words, right? So he thinks that black men need more gay mentorship. Now, understand, we have an example of what gay mentorship does. We have an example of it. It's an example. You're talking about, depending on who you talk to, you're talking about a 40-year scandal with the Catholic Church. And the altar boys had gay mentors. And those gay mentors did some things, got behind those boys in the wrong way. All right? You know how they say, get behind your children? Yeah, they got behind them all right, but it wasn't in the right way. So we have already an example of what gay or homosexual mentorship does to children. It ruins their lives, and you have all of this sexual assault. And we got that example. The Catholic Church and the 40-year sex scandal is that continues to keep on giving. Is here for all of us to look at, okay? We can look at that and we can see what happens when you have gay people mentoring your young man. They come back with a dress on. They come back confused about who they are because some adult who was mentoring them You understand? So it's very clear that Barack Obama is not guided by God. Let me just say that. He is guided by, in that instance, he was definitely guided by the opposite force of God in making that statement on that. And part of his job that was given to him was to make that LGBTQ thing acceptable to black people. That black people feel like they have to sign on to everything on the Democratic Party platform to be a quote unquote loyal Democrat, not knowing that none of this stuff is good for us. You voted for the crime bill, some of you, so you could be a loyal Democrat. Our brother down there in New Orleans, Bill Jefferson, William Jefferson, voted for the crime bill. From what I read, I think he voted yes for it. The bottom line of it is a lot of those Congressional Black Caucus members voted for the crime bill in the name of being a loyal Democrat. But you better be a loyal black. Now, the thing I'm going to say right quick before we watch this next clip, I'm going to say this right quick. Everybody is upset. I ain't going to say everybody, but too many of us are upset at the overt racism of Donald Trump. Okay? Very rarely should you be upset if you see somebody in a Klan robe. At least they're letting you know who they are. Trump is letting us know who he is. Everybody is letting us know he's letting you know what it is. There is no faking it. He's letting you know what time it is. But some of us think it's the Republicans, or you should vote Democrat. It's the Republicans, these racist Republicans and all that. A lot of advocates, activists are into that. This is what I'm going to tell y'all. It's not the Republicans. It's the Americans. It's both parties as well as the independents. Both parties have worked against the interests of black people, Democrat and Republican. Okay, when you promote LGBTism in the black community, you set up a situation where people don't desire to have the traditional family, which is the family that works. You want to experiment on something that's already failed, but don't want to deal with what works. Let me tell you what works in most cases. And it works far more often than in any other situation. And that is a husband, a wife, and some children, and the structure of that home. That's what produces good people. Okay, Martin Luther King was produced by a what? Two-parent household. Okay, Malcolm X, two-parent household. Understand that two-parent household is undefeated. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's better than every doggone thing else. And that's what they're trying to get you away from. They're trying to get you away from the traditional family, which will save you, into the abyss of all of this non-binary crap, women's lib crap. Look, everybody needs to be liberated. Women, let me break it down to you. As long as your man is down, you're down. I'm saying this to the women. And to the men, as long as your woman is down, you're down. There's no way you can liberate me without liberating my woman, and there's no way you can liberate my woman without liberating me. The liberation goes hand in hand. But you signed on to a secular philosophy that doesn't work for you in your relationships. You understand? And there is a structure in the relationship. Okay? There's a structure. The man is the protector and the provider. Okay? That's what time it is. And he is the guide of his home. That's what time it is. And for whatever reason, people have a problem with that. People have a problem with what has worked for millions of years, which is a two-parent household. They for some reason, the enemy wants you to be upset at that. Now, here's the thing I want to mention to you. that false hope, the false hope we have, is keeping us from the freedom that we say we want. And as I said before, some of y'all don't want to be free, you just want to be comfortable. Some of you don't want to grow your own food. You'd rather go to Walmart. You'd rather go to Kroger. You'd rather go to Albertsons. You'd rather go somewhere. You don't want to grow nothing. You don't really want to be free. You just want to be comfortable. You'd rather buy your apples in air condition rather than grow your own trees where it's hot and go pick your own apples, which are not going to have all the pesticides on it. You don't really want freedom. You just want to be a better treated slave. And that is the issue with a lot of our leadership. You don't want to get off the plantation. You just want to be in the big house where it's more comfortable. But freedom is not something that a lot of us desire. We just have to be honest. Everybody's not on the freedom page. Okay? Everybody's not on the freedom page. The Nation of Islam operates farms where we provide food for those of us who are in the nation, and we sell some of the food to people who are outside the Nation of Islam. But we're providing a model where you can look at it because we all have to eat. And what if you can't depend on this country to feed you? What if Walmart closes? How are you going to be? And the other thing I want to mention to you, that dependence on others, if white folks right now decided not to sell us Charmin anymore, so y'all black folk can't get Charmin, y'all can't get Scott's, y'all can't get soft and fluffy, I'm not selling no toilet paper to Negroes. Would we, including our leaders, be able to wipe our ass if they decided tonight not one more roll to a black person? And if the answer is no, then we have to do something as a people to change that. And anybody that's not talking like this, the way you want to change it and eventually do everything yourself, not just to buy your wife a car, but as a black man, I want a future where we as black people make the car. You understand? Black Motor Company. Okay, we got to buy Chevys right now. But I don't want us 30 years from now still buying Chevys. I want us making a doggone truck. But it takes vision and it takes free thinking to arrive there. All right? Now, we have this clip. We're going to run this clip right here. It should be about 5 minutes. And we're going to have some closing commentary, inshallah. And we're going to keep it moving. And the question is what kind of future we will have.
Yes.
And that we have to consider, are we working against what God wants? Or are we working in harmony with what God wants for a people that this book delineates clearly that something is wrong?
Yes.
Wrong with the government in which we live, wrong with the leaders that lead us, wrong with us in the way we respond to our enemy and each other. This nation is not about poor people, whether they're black, brown, red, yellow, or white. This nation is about rich people, privileged people, powerful people, and to hell with the weak, the poor. They must serve. Now, Harry Belafonte said a few weeks before Martin Luther King was assassinated, they were meeting to talk about the march in Memphis. He went over to his brother, and according to his words, he said, "Martin, you seem melancholy. What's troubling you?" And Dr. King said, "I fear that I am integrating my people into a burning house." We don't see the fire, but the house is burning. He said to my dear brother Harry Belafonte, we have to be firemen to put the fire out. I said, no, we must let the fire burn. When John baptized Jesus, he said, I baptize you with water, but there's one coming after me that will baptize you with fire. Why fire? Because nothing remains in its present form when fire touches it. America must be burned. Listen to me, because I really don't care no more about what anybody thinks. Because if we're going to go down this road and make a covenant, we can't make another covenant with death. You said, Tavis, what is that word about promise?
Barbara Jordan, what the American people want is simple. They want an America as good as its promise.
Well, America is no good at all. If you have made a promise that you don't keep, what are you? You are a liar. Did they promise the Native Americans? Did they write it in treaties? Did they fulfill it? Did they promise us 40 acres and a mule? Did they fulfill it? Brown versus the Board of Education. 50 years later, where's the promise? Is it fulfilled, or are we still in segregated schools? The right to vote, you got it? But the minute they gave it to you, they were finding ways to take it back from you. Can't you open your eyes and see the house is burning? We are dying every day, and we're in a hell of a condition because we've made a covenant with a government that is death itself, with a people that have lied to us, deceived us, and murdered us, and rubs us good on one side and kicks us in the behind on the other. You are a deceived people. If you don't have the testicular fortitude to say what needs to be said, then sit down and stop trying to say you speak for our people and the hurt of the poor. Now I close. Excuse me. I think I'm getting excited. I applaud this covenant, but it demonstrates our impotence, because in many of the chapters it keeps going back to not only what we do, but really we start looking to the same liar that has continued to promise but never fulfill. And that's why God said, if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, forgive your sins and heal your land. So don't look to them, look to God, look to yourself, break your covenant with hell and death, then make a covenant with Black America, and let's help implement a road map that will free us, and the whites that will be freed can be freed by this. The Mexicans, the Hispanics can be freed by this roadmap. We are a universal people. But those at the top, they're on their way to hell. And if I got any power, I want to push them into hell as fast as I can. We are a full nation now, and we got to stop thinking like Negroes and colored people and shines and ham bones. and start thinking like free men and women who don't want to live on a plantation no more. I gotta go.
Wow. Wow. Man. Now, that was, of course, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. And as you can see, he is a man of vision who wants something permanent for our people into the future. Now, I'm going to say this. We, in the Nation of Islam, we operate about 7 independent schools that are directly affiliated with a system of education called the Muhammad University of Islam. There are several more affiliate schools around the country, and there are even schools in Europe that are up under the Nation of Islam. Now, what we also have farmland. So,
Brother, you want to take this phone call? You want to
go
take this
ahead.
phone?
Go ahead real quick.
Great caller.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Oh, Brother Jay?
Brother Darrell.
Yes, hello?
Yes. Yes,
Brother
sir.
Darrell, yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, he could hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
He could hear you.
Few minutes,
Okay.
but go ahead.
Great. Well, here's what I want to say to Brother Darrell on this Sunday evening. Today is the 7th of July, 2025. Brother Darrell, my name is Coach. I'm going to go by Coach. I want to say that I just heard the last part of our brother, the Honorable, who I respect a whole lot. And boy, I'm just walked in and it's catching me off guard. I'm going to come back to his name in a second, but I want to just say what he was just saying. Brother Darrell, I'm glad that you show this kind of stuff to us because the truth has to be told to us as a people. As a people, we are getting weak. As a people, we are getting frail. As a people, we need to do better. Brother Darrell, we are letting our children down. We are letting those babies down. We are letting the elders down. And all of us in the middle of those babies and those elders, we need to do better. We need to do better. What is going to take? Nope. Everything that is going to take has already happened over all these years. All I'm going to say is this. It's no more time for tears, and it's no more time for crying and excuses, and it's no more time for everybody trying to figure it out because everybody tried that, and none of that worked. And all of that nonsense is basically nonsense. It don't work. So here we are after coronavirus and after every other thing that could have happened to every other thing of us has happened. And here we are still crying. Our children are dependent upon us. Our elders who are still living are dependent on us. Brother Louis Farrakhan, he speaks it and he tells the truth. And whoever can't take it, that's your problem. Well, if you can't take what Louis is saying, then go to the Bible and go open first chapter Genesis and go open last chapter Revelation and look in between those chapters and read what he's talking about and stop lying to yourself. Because the bottom line is, when are y'all going to get sick enough to y'all's stomach to where it makes you puke? Right now, y'all are all puking. It's time, guys. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I'm talking about all races. Guys, we can't continue this. This is ridiculous. This is inhumane, ridiculous. This is so much to the point where a third grader can figure this out. Let's stop tripping. Let's stop acting foolish and tell our politicians who so say they represent us to come on. Please, get real. Are y'all serious? Thank you.
All right. Well, we definitely appreciate the sentiments of that caller. And of course, I wanted to read something right quick as we close. We got about, it looks like, Brother Director, we got about 4 or 5 minutes left. Now I'm going to read some,
5 minutes.
Okay, that'll work. We'll deal with our 5 minutes. All time comes from God, and we're going to thank God for the time He has given us. I want to mention this, and this is just your brother, Brother Darrell Muhammad. On page 32 of a book called Message to the Black Man, I want you to listen to these words. One of the gravest handicaps among the so-called Negroes is that there is no love for self, no love for his or her own kind. This not having love for self is the root cause of hate, disunity, disagreement, quarreling, betraying, stool pigeons, and fighting and killing one another. The lack of love for self. And it's a very simple diagnosis. Now, you could get somebody on here to go into the finer details of the psychology of the slave mind and all of it. We can break it down to you in detail if we have to. But understand that black self-love, we're not talking about hating anybody else, but black self-love with all of our institutions has to be something we teach in an unapologetic way. I don't care if it's the church. Get that doggone Caucasian image of Jesus off the damn wall. Black self-love has to be taught to every man, woman, and child. Conflict resolution centers need to be in these churches where you get the varying groups, what we call hoods, and you get everybody together and you sit them down and you talk it out before you shoot it out. All of this stuff is going to take work and it's going to take risk in order to get it done. But if we stay where we are, death is going to continue to hit us as a people. Mass incarceration is going to continue to affect us as a people. There are so many brothers. I'm talking about a lot of our potential is at Dixon Correctional Institute, is at Hunt, is at Angola. All right, state penitentiary. We have a lot of potential locked away behind bars because we didn't do the work. And let me tell you what it's going to take. That's why I'm door to door in the hood, knocking on doors. I'm not just on television. I'm not just on Facebook. I am door to door in the hood. You understand me? Many people open up their door and they see this bald head and they see me trying to talk to them about something positive. Us and the other FOI we go door to door. Okay, that's what has to be done. We have to walk our communities with the thought, not of breaking in one another's houses, but of bringing a word that brings us together and unifies us as a people. We got to stop feeding off each other because the enemy has made the resources scarce. We can't fall into that trap. Unity is the way to go. And with all of these empty lots, let me tell you something. I found that, look, with these empty lots, you can grow you 10, 15 rows of corn in these empty lots.
1 minute.
You can grow you some okra. The point is you can do something for yourself to make yourself healthier, and it takes unity and it takes the mind to be able to do it. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Community Defender, and we'll be back at you with another episode soon. May Allah bless you as your Brother Darrell Muhammad, greets you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Muhammad and Rasulullah.